Ladies and gentlemen, please, will you bring your attention to me? Oh God, it hurts so much. Oh, I hurt. Anyway, welcome back, boys and girls, to the Final Fantasy XIV Job Fiesta, where before Zell and I continue the New Game Plus into Heaven's Word, I'm covering the job quest for ARR. As promised, I am back with the next part, the final part of the Gridania section, Conjurer and White Wolves. Let's go ahead and get into this. I've already got New Game Plus loaded up, already in the Conjurer's Guild in Gridania. Let's see the storyline, shall we? Well met, adventurer. You are come to Stillglade Fane, home of the Conjurer's Guild. We conjurers harness the power of earth, wind, and water that abound in nature, and thereby do spells of healing and protection. Never do we seek noble souls to initiate into our mysteries. Might you be such a soul, come to join the guild? Yes. Then allow me to provide you with an overview of what it is to be a conjurer. Conjuring is the art of healing and purification. Its practitioners harness the power of nature that they might bring about change in the form of spells. Primitive magic such as that, once wrought by an individual, is known as mages, meaning those with the ability to manipulate aether, has existed since the dawn of time. It was not until some 5 centuries ago that conjuring emerged from this shapeless agglomeration of spells and charms, an event which led to the founding of Gridania. In those dark days, the elementals would not suffer man's presence in the 12th Wood, forcing our forebears to make their homes beneath the earth in the great subterranean city of Gilmora. But their desire to settle in the 12th Wood continued to burn fiercely. Time and again they sought to curry the elementals' favor. Unlike men and other creatures bound in temples of flesh, the elementals are beings of pure aether. Recognizing this, the mages of Eld reasoned that their talent for etheric manipulation might allow them to commune with these theretofore enigmatic entities. It took 5 long decades, but our forebears finally succeeded. Their reward? The elementals' permission to dwell in the 12th Wood. So it was that the nation of Gridania was born. Since that time, the elementals have taught us to live as one with nature, speaking to all Gridanians through the ears. Those mages who are able to communicate. And for their intimacy with the elementals, the hearers would go on to attain greater mastery over the forces of nature, thus did they conceive the art of conjuring. And that, my most attentive listener, is a brief history of conjuring. If you have a mind to walk our path, I wholeheartedly recommend you join our guild. It would be my pleasure to explain the initiation process to you. Pray speak with me again when you are ready. I'm ready. Is your mind made up? Are you ready to join the Conjurer's Guild? That is well. I shall introduce you to our guildmaster, Brother Isumi Yan. Brother Isumi Yan presides over the Conjurer's Guild, even as he serves as the nation as a hero. You will find him in the meditation area within. Go to him and make known your desire to join the guild. Greetings, adventurer. I am told you wish to become a conjurer of Stillglade Fane. I am Brother Isumi Yan, master of this guild. Before you are formally accepted into our ranks, I would impart to you the principles of conjuring. Pray attend to me well. Conjuring is an arcane art that takes life and the living for its domain. Its primary purpose is the salving of hurts and the granting of protection. Adventurers such as yourself oft stand upon the front lines of battle. Owing to this, you are likely to find yourself in many situations wherein the capacity for healing would be advantageous. Mind you, there is more to conjuring than that. By harnessing the power of earth, wind, and water, conjurers are also capable of weaving spells that wreak havoc. In terms of sheer destructive power, conjuring may pale in comparison to thaumaturgy, but its capacity to defend one against aggression more than compensates for this relative shortcoming. In mastering healing and purification, not only will you be able to mend wounds and purge afflictions, you will also be able to breathe life back into the fallen. More than simple healers, yet not true dealers of destruction, the conjurers realize their full potential when they employ their powers in support of others. This, my dear adventurer, is what it means to be one of us. Mayhap that was too much to grasp upon a single hearing. But worry not, for the meaning of my words will become clear to you in due time. Aye, you will come to understand that conjuring is not the sole province of the conjurer. Should you wish to walk the path, I must needs ask that you solemnly vow to embrace nature, to heed the will of the elementals and the 12s of the light. Can you make this vow? I knew your answer ere your lips had departed, yet I am no less pleased to hear it. By the power vested in me, I hereby name you a member of the Conjurers Guild. If you would be so kind as to lend me your hunting log, I shall add to it the names of such creatures that would pose a suitable challenge to a conjurer. And to mark this momentous occasion, I present to you this cane. Though it may be old and weathered, it will serve you well as you take your first steps upon the path of conjurer. Take up your cane, Strife, and present yourself to me once more. I would assign you your first task as a conjurer of Still Blade fame. The part of conjurer becomes you, Strife. Without further ado, I shall assign you your first task as a conjurer of Still Blade fame. Just beyond the city gates, you will encounter squirrels, ladybugs, and fungars. I would have you slay 3 of each. Lest you wonder how I can so coolly order the taking of life, know that things are not as they once were. As a consequence of the calamity, and I may add, through no fault of their own, these creatures have become a burden to the 12th Room, a burden they cannot well bear. As a conjurer, it is your duty to carry out the will of the forest, and by employing your powers in doing so, you will come to learn something of your art. Go now, Strife, and perform your first task in the name of the elementals. Yay! Who knew arrow could be so effective? Damn it, Tiana. Looks over her shoulder. Yeah. The scantily clad. Welcome back, Strife. The elementals have told me of your success. By placing yourself in the midst of nature and seeing it with Conjurer's eyes, you have taken your first step along the path to enlightenment. Healing, protection, and destruction, though our spells vary in function, they all derive their power from the same source, the forces embodied in all creation. By gaining a true understanding of these, a conjurer may call upon them to manipulate his environment, thereby realizing the state of being that he desires. Ah yes, yours is a familiar look, the very picture of confusion. Be not disheartened, for comprehension shall come into play. For now you must learn to reach out to the forces embodied in each of us. Pray hearken to mine instructions. Breathe deep and open your eyes to that which cannot be seen. Feel the myriad life around you and draw upon this boundless reservoir of energy. Take up your cane and use it to lend that energy to all. Go forth, my young conjurer, and be at one with the world. Return to me when you have learned to draw upon the forces around you with the self-same ease you draw upon those within. It's good to see you again. By the air of serenity that surrounds you, it is plain you have learned to draw upon the energy of creation. I am glad. It is the wellspring of all your power, all our power. Yet the energy of creation is not one thing, but many, and to call upon it without first knowing each is contrary at its most basic. As part of your continuing education, it is my desire that you now learn about the elements of earth. Make your way to Blessed Bud in North Shroud, and there partake of Hera Nolanel's wisdom. The depths of his affinity for the elementals of rock and soil is all but unique amongst conjurers, and he is a gifted instructor besides. You may be certain of receiving a most enlightening lesson on the subject of earth. Normally I'd be a little bit more energetic, but between the late start and just the day I had at work, it's very ugh. So I apologize if I'm not, like, I know I'm not exactly like super entertaining and super like energetic and out there a lot of the times, but you know, I do try and put an active effort. Right now I feel like I'm barely able to muster that, so I hope you guys can bear with me for this. You seek Hera Nolanel, then seek no more, for you have found him. What can I do for you, friend? So Brother Isumion to bid you to come to me to learn of the elements of earth. That is well. The power of earth is the solid foundation upon which a conjurer stands. I can happily lecture you for days on its intricate variations of properties. But I rather suspect the busy life an adventurer would not afford the time required for such extended discourse. Accordingly, I shall offer you an opportunity to experience the qualities of earth firsthand, in combat. Now mark me well, Strife, and do exactly as I command. East of here, in the grounds of Tree Speak Stables, there exists a patch of soil that bears the mark of corruption. Seek it out. When you have found the place, reach out to focus on the earth's trauma and attempt to commune with it, as all conjurers can. Resentful of your intrusion, the tainted being that feasted unseen upon the energy seeping from the wounded earth shall then appear. Using the powers of conjurers, strike it down and permit the land a chance to heal. Much of the nature of earth will be revealed to you during the struggle and strife. I trust you will return to me a wiser man than he who now departs. I did it. Not sure if it was much of a struggle, though. Welcome back, Strife. The elementals whisper of your accomplishments. How did it feel to confront the embodiment of Earth, to endure its onslaught, having the crushing power of this element shaken the very marrow of your bones? Corruption occurs when the land's wounds are prevented from healing. In vanquishing the tainted sprite, you permitted the Earth's energies to flow unimpeded, and to nourish the land once more. Can you not sense the strength of the Earth returning? Already the land begins to heal thanks to your actions. That field will once again bear bountiful crops. When next you have reason to call upon your art, look back upon this task and that which you accomplished. Experience once more the grinding weight of the earth's fury and revel in the memory of life flowing anew through the land you helped restore. With such thoughts shall your understanding of nature continue to grow. I hope you were paying attention, Sophie. See this adventurer here? Strife came all the way from Stillglade Fane just to hear my lesson. You would do well to learn from his example. If you wish to become a conjurer worthy of the name, you must make an effort to study nature. Do you attend me, young lady? Why should I bother studying nature? I can conjure already. See? You have a rare gift for healing, Sophie. A wonderful gift. Yet there is more to being a conjurer than... But I don't want to do more. I want to heal. I'm good at healing. You can't make me do those other things. Sometimes I wonder why I even try. Sophie joined the guild shortly before you came to us. As you yourself just experienced, she possesses a prodigious talent for healing. Indeed, despite her tender years, I know a few conjurers who are her equal in that field. Alas, nature, the very wellspring of her power, holds no interest for the child, and when she should by rights be learning about the land, she prefers instead to wander it, healing people on a whim. You, in contrast, have been a most attentive student. I have taught you all I know of the element of earth. You may report back to Brother Isumi and tell him as much. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Ah, Strife, you have returned. But tell me, how did you fare under Nolanel's expert tutelage? Have you delved deep into the earth and felt its suffocating weight, its life-sustaining vigor? Such experiences will serve you well, and have you aught else to report? Hmm? A fledgling conjurer named Sophie casting healing magic upon you? How kind of her. I must confess to sharing Nolanel's frustration with the girl. As you yourself have witnessed, Sophie possesses a natural talent for the conjuring of mending and restoration. Alas, her gifts appear to have blinded her to the need for study, and she outright refuses to learn about the natural world. She knows nothing of the elements of earth and wind, and is quite incapable of conjuring even the tiniest pebble or the faintest breeze. I have tried upon numerous occasions to explain to her that conjurers who are ignorant of the source of their power pose a risk to themselves and others, but all to no avail. Should she continue to deny the debt she owes to nature and indulge in ever more reckless displays of power, there is every possibility that she will create a dangerous imbalance. Needless to say, I am presently at a loss to know how such an eventuality might be prevented. Ah, a thought occurs to me, Strife. It may be that your encounter with Sophie was ordained by the elementals. Should you chance to meet with her again, I ask that you strive to impress upon her the importance of opening oneself to nature's voice. Mayhap she will listen to you. But we have discussed our wayward young friend's education enough. Let us speak instead of one of my more willing pupils, namely you. The progress you have made does you great credit, Strife. Though you are yet new to the art of conjuring, you are no stranger to nature's embrace. Considering all that you have learned, I hope you understand the true significance of these words. Greetings, Strife. Each time we meet, the part of Conjurer befits you ever better. In your previous lesson, you learned about the element of earth. It is my desire that you become acquainted with the wind. Travel to Fullflower Combe in the East Shroud and seek the teachings of Hero Wolfew. Though scant few years have passed since her coming of age, Wolfew is a conjurer of consummate skill who is able to divine the will of air elementals with uncommon clarity. I can recommend no better tutor for your lessons in the mysteries of wind. Off to Eastshroud then. You must be Strife. Brother Isumiyon sent word to expect you. It shall be my pleasure to instruct you on the patterns of gusts and gales. Now, how to proceed? Pray forgive my hesitation. It was but recently that I obtained the title of Hearer, and, well, you are my first student. Ah yes, I believe I have a suitable task for you. To the east of Sweet Bloom Pier there is a small spring, giving rise to a pool. Go there and clear the air of the honeybee swarm which lately took up residence in the area. You seem uncertain. Mayhap you wonder at the connection between my requests and the subject of your study. I sympathize, Strife, but trust me. Inexperienced though I may seem, this deed will deepen your understanding of wind. Welcome back. I take it the bees are no more? Tell me, did you happen to notice many of the Valakins preferred flowers in the vicinity of the spring? I ask because there were none. Strange, then, is it not, that the bees should choose to congregate there? And what has caused this aberrant behavior? Still your mind and reach out with your senses. Can you feel it? The path of the wind veers from its natural course, sweeping hapless creatures along in its wake. Something is playing havoc with the air currents. Such a disturbance bespeaks corruption. Return to the spring near Sweet Bloom Pier and search for pockets of corrupted air. Should you find one, use your powers of conjury to disperse it. forward and back again, forward and back again, or forward and back again, 1 foot forward. Tis but an instance. Well done. The wind no longer keens in its frustration. Let us return to Full Flower. I must apologize for exposing you to such danger. The corruption was greater than I anticipated, but it is through such trials that we flourish as conjurers. Now then, Strife, what did you learn as you struggled within the air's grasp? You will doubtless have noticed that wind does not strike with the instant, crushing force of earth. Instead, it torments one's form, dancing across every surface and leaving 1,000 tiny wounds in its wake. These are the agonies of erosion. Having experienced such pain, you are now intimately acquainted with wind's capacity for patient destruction. No land is a stranger to its power. When you stand under distant skies and feel the wind's familiar caress upon your skin, remember the lessons you have learned here this day. I suppose I should be grateful that this latest elemental disturbance manifested itself at such an opportune time. Only the gods know what I would have taught you had it not. Yet the growing frequency of such phenomena begins to concern me. While it is true that the calamity wrought much harm upon the Twelveswood, I suspect some other forces at work here. I bid you remain wary, Strife. But enough of these ominous rumblings. I regret to say that your time with me is at an end. Return to Stillglade Fane and inform Brother Isumi of your newfound mastery. Oh, and be sure to thank him for sending me such a willing first student. Welcome to the shit show. Shit is going down. Welcome back, Strife. The elementals inform me that you have opened your ears to the voice of the wind. That is well. Having made allies of 2 elements, you are well on your way along the path of conjuring. Your full comprehension of these forces will only come to you in the fullness of time. Be patient. As you seek to embrace nature more fully, so will nature hold you more closely. They made you study wind. Why bother? You don't need wind to heal things, whatever those dreary lessons you tell. Conjuring is inextricably bound from nature, Sophie. That dreary lesson is one you should have learned by now. I assume by your presence here that you have once again abandoned your tutors. You must understand, if you persist in casting spells without the proper knowledge. I have all the knowledge I need. My mother never needed to embrace nature to heal, and the people she helped were thankful for her art. I'll learn conjuring the same way she did, and become just as great a conjurer. You'll see. But I didn't come here to argue with you, Brother Izumi. I wanted to tell you that I've discovered how to cast rays. What were you thinking, girl? You know not what you do, what you risk. You are meddling with forces beyond your comprehension. Should you even attempt to use the spell, I will have no recourse but to strip you of the name Conjurer and banish you from our halls. Do I make myself clear? Why must you be so angry with me? It's not as if I were trying to hurt anyone. But that's... Sophie, my dear child, that is precisely the point. My apologies, Strife. I hope you do not find these constant disruptions distracting. As you have just heard, Sophie's mother was also a conjurer who was unable to use any spells outside of the sphere of healing. Needless to say, Sophie seeks to emulate her in every way. It is a rare and wondrous talent to heal without relying on the energies of nature, and such power is not born to true conjuring. By all that we know of the art, it should not be possible for Sophie to cast rays. I shudder to think what would happen if she tried. I fear my inability to set her upon the true path reflects my own failings as a teacher. I'm only glad that those same failings have not hindered you. Whether it be with my help or in spite of it, I believe that you will become a fine conjurer. Already you are blessed with great power, and more shall be yours should you persevere with our art, as indeed I hope you shall. Yet however much you grow, however powerful you become, remember that ours is a power borrowed, not taken. It's good to see you again, Strife. By the aura you exude, it's plain you have grown further as a conjurer. The time has come that you acquaint yourself with the third element of our art, water. For the first part of your lesson, you are to take this flask of pristine water and pour it at the foot of the hedge tree found near Hawthorne Hut. The water's purity will draw forth the corrupting entity that is siphoning the tree's life force. Dispatch this being, then speak with Brother Yosin at Hawthorne Hut. As you might expect, he is a conjurer with a fine ear for the murmurings of the broken stream. Listen well to his advice if you would learn to master the elements of water. Back to E-Shroud! Greetings, Strife. Brother Izumi informed me of your coming. I assume it was you who purified the befouled water at the hedge tree? The joyous bubbling of the elementals was a pleasure to hear. On behalf of both them and myself, I thank you. Now, without further ado, let us speak of that which Brother Izumi sent you here to learn. I trust you did not find it strange to be asked to tend to a tree when your lesson this day concerns the element of water. One need not have studied botany to realize that the forest requires more than rich soil to flourish. Water is essential for carrying the nutrients in the earth from a tree's root all the way to the very tips of its leaves. This precious liquid is the lifeblood of the 12's wood. Without it, naught would grow. But should it rise in too great a volume and too swiftly, the nourishing flow will become a crashing wave that washes away all before it. It is important to realize that all of nature is in balance. As Conjurer derives its power from nature, we must take care not to use our art in a manner like to disrupt the state. Ever must we be mindful of the ceaseless tug of war embodied in creation, this fruitful stalemate of the elements. Brother Yosin, are you about? I'm here, sir. What has transpired? A herd of young antelope stags has gone berserk. I don't know what's got 'em so panicked, but there's no calming 'em now. The mad beast gored the soldiers sent to shepherd 'em away from civilian settlements, leaving us with a pile of wounded over at Jocelyn's Spire, and not enough hands to staunch the bleeding. We need a healer, and fast. Curious. I sense nothing amiss in the whisperings of the elementals. What could have frightened these antelopes so? Apologies. I shall revisit these musings anon. Let us make haste. If matters are as chaotic as you say, I fear the number of injured may be rising as we speak. I doubt that we too will suffice. We must divide our forces. Strife, travel straight away to Jocelyn's Spire and tend to the wounded. I shall endeavor to rally further healers and follow after your bearing what restorative unguents I can. You, sir, head to Stillglade Fane and beseech the aid of Brother Isumi. Who art a conjurer, you say? Praise Nafaka. You've come not a moment too soon. Sounds like yet more wounded have just been carried in. Pray offer them what aid you can. I can breathe again. Thank you. These folk are out of danger for the present, but I fear our reprieve shall be brief. The battle with the stag yet rages, and there are reports of yet more wounded. I bid you join the wood whalers and help put an end to this. Seek them just off the road that leads to the northeast, and do not worry. My art should be sufficient to prevent matters from worsening here. Now go. Come to lend a hand, have you? Quickly, the fight is this way. Conjurer, your aid! Miss? I'm fine. Don't mind me. Pray tell me that we are not too late. Sophie, what have you done? I forbade you from using such methods. Guildmaster, I will not see you repeat your mother's mistakes. My mother never did anything wrong. Strife, may I ask that you follow her, please? I fear my presence will only serve to provoke her further. She cannot have gone far in her weakened state. I don't understand. When I try to cast spells, nothing happens. When I reach for my power, there's just nothing there. Is this what the Guildmaster was trying to warn me about? He said I was repeating my mother's mistakes. The same thing happened to her, losing her magic. And then she... Am I going to die? This can't be happening. I didn't think... Please, I need to be alone. Hey, look, it's holy shit. Or holy sheep. Strife, you returned at last. Were you able to speak with Sophie? I see. I once taught you that conjurers harness the power of nature that we might bring about change. Earth, wind, water, healing. The principle is no different. For the art of mending, we draw on the boundless life force of nature and bestow it upon the wounded. Sophie has never sought to borrow from that bounty. Her power to heal stems from her own life force. The vital energies of mortals are, however, finite, and now that which I most feared has come to pass. Her mother unwittingly took her own life through the continued use of her healing skills, and Sophie's aptitude for the art is, if anything, even greater. Thus it is not unexpected that she should reach the limits of her strength at a much earlier age. If we do not intervene, this terrible tragedy will be repeated, and I, for one, could not bear to see the child suffer the same fate as her mother. I shall think on a solution to this dark dilemma. It may be that I will have need of your assistance in the near future, Strife. Do not doubt your abilities. You are a conjurer who has passed the trials of earth, wind, and water. You grow closer to nature with every passing day, and I sense within you the seeds of greatness. In your encounter with water, you learned its role as a bringer of life, but you also felt the implacable power of a surging wave as it swept you along in its path. Like earth and wind, and nature at large, the element of water is possessed by more than one aspect. Having completed the third lesson, I am satisfied that you have mastered the fundamentals of conjuring. Yet this is but the beginning of your journey. Henceforth, you must strive to attune yourself ever more closely to the elements and to nature. Greetings, Strife. You radiate the confidence of a conjurer who neglects not a study of the elements. I confess I have no lesson for you to learn this day. Instead, I would ask that you aid me in the education of another. Yes, I speak of Sylvie. After no small amount of prompting, bordering on coercion, the child has finally promised to attempt to embrace the forces of nature. But I'm afraid that matter is not so easily resolved. Sylvie has never attempted to learn the basic offensive skills that you and most other conjurers master before venturing into the wild. As such, she is ill-equipped to undertake the trials which furnished you and your peers with an understanding of the elements. Put simply, she is no match for the tainted spirits of nature. But if a more capable conjurer were to accompany her and purify the corruption in her stead, it may yet serve to impress upon her the power of the forces at work. I bid you take her on a pilgrimage around the 12 Ring and give her the opportunity to witness these confrontations firsthand. Earth, wind, water. She must know them all. Show her the majesty and primal ferocity of nature. As it was with you, let Earth be her first lesson. Sophie awaits you at Ben Crouch Meadows. Pray forgive my presumption, but I thought it best to send her on ahead while her conviction remains strong. Once you have located the patch of corrupted soil at Ben Branch, draw forth the tainted spirit and let her witness the struggle that ensues. May the elementals aid you in this endeavor, Strife. Right, I love babysitting. Alright, Sophie, watch. I wasn't scared, I was just a little startled, that's all. It was as if a mass of solid wrath had erupted from the ground. I've never felt anything like... never mind. We have to head to the Bannock next. Let's get this over with. God, the wind blew straight through me. It felt both gentle and sharp at the same time. I can't explain it. Is this something you can conjure? Let's be on our way. The last one is at Lilystone. The lake is so beautiful. I never noticed how clearly the sky is reflected in its surface. I never noticed. Let's head back. I'm ready to speak with the Guildmaster now. Yay? Welcome back, my avid conjurers. How fared you in your encounter with the elements? Sophie, what did you sense as Strife cleansed the sources of corruption? It's hard to explain. It was like hearing voices crying out in joy. And I felt their happiness wash over me. The world seemed sharper, more alive. It was almost as if nature were speaking to me. But why, Brother Isumi? Why did my mother teach me to avoid the sight of conjuring? What was she so afraid of? There were certain truths that hide behind the mask of our words, and there is much that your mother didn't tell you. But you needn't seek all the answers at once, Sophie. Even now, your mind founders amid a sudden inundation of awareness. The first time we connect with nature can be wonderful, but disorienting experience. I suggest you allow yourself some time to adjust to this new perspective. Yes, Guildmaster. You have my gratitude, Strife. Thanks to you, Sophie has taken a most important step. You heard her mention voices crying out in joy, did you not? It appears the mother's gift has been passed on to the daughter. Such sensitivity is not something one can achieve through meditation and training, but a blessing that only a few fortunate chosen receive. And as you have no doubt surmised, Sophie's mother was one such person. The misunderstanding of that blessing, however, was what led her down such a tragic path. We cannot allow Sophie's astonishing talents to consume her in the same manner. But we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. The girl has barely awoken to her potential. And for that potential to be fully realized, your support is yet needed. I suspect she failed to mention that the promise of your involvement in her lessons was the reason for her change of heart. You underestimate the impression your quiet determination has made on young Sophie. If modesty prevents you from acknowledging your own good deed, consider this task a part of your training. For conjurers are healers of wounds, be they physical or otherwise. Walk with her on her journey, Strife, and together explore the myriad mysteries of nature. Welcome, Strife. The tales of your deeds reach me even here in this cloistered hall of still-laid fate. Glad I am that you have come, for I would ask your assistance in a matter of some delicacy that concerns, yes, young Sophie once more. As you can no doubt imagine, the recent revelations concerning her mother have sorely troubled the poor child. It appears Sophie needed some time alone to sort through the whirlwind of emotions which now beset her. She has, in short, fled from the guild. Fortunately, a party of conjurers who were dispatched to the South Shroud to investigate another instance of corruption sent word that they have spotted our wayward Sophie. Considering the importance of their mission, I would not seek to distract the conjurers from their task. Thus, I turn to you to escort Sophie back here to the guild. You are, I believe, one of the few people to whom she will listen. Pray travel to Bascaran Struthers and speak with Wolfia. She was the conjurer who first chanced upon Sophie, and will be able to tell you more of how the young lady fares. We meet again, Strife. I assume Brother Isumi warned you of the corruption my companions and I have been tasked with purifying here in South Shroud. The source of this extensive blight is found to the southeast. The shrill, discordant voices of the elementals shriek their dismay in the vicinity of the withered treant. I suggest you give the area a wide berth. Considering the potential dangers, you might imagine how alarmed I was to discover young Sophie wandering about this part of the 12's Wind. Seems that her mother, a woman who healed with conjury but remained untrained by the guild, called this region her home. Sophie herself had her head buried in some manner of tone, but if she is as sensitive to the elemental's murmurings as I am led to believe, then the din within her mind must be driving her to distraction. Pray speak with the child and see that she is well. I would do so myself if our current duty were not so pressing. We will, in fact, be setting out at any moment. Hi, Queen. Strife. I should have known that Wolfine would tattle on me, and Brother Isumi sent you to take me back, didn't you? This is where my mother used to live, you know, right up until she passed on. Folk were grateful for the healing she offered. I'm tired and I'm sore. How are you? And this is the journal she used to keep. There's an entry that explains how nature becomes furious when conjurers use their art. How there are always more people wounded in battles when mortals abuse the power that is not theirs to take. My mother refused to draw on nature because she was scared of making it angry. She wouldn't lie about such things, and I want to do what she would have wanted. I'm going to stop using conjuring altogether. I've never heard the voices this mad before. I bet it's because Wolfine and the others are overusing their art. We have to go and stop them. Damn kid. God, it's so loud. Can't you hear it? Nature is shrieking in rage. I can't believe nature actually helped us. There was nothing scary about it at all. And I still wonder if it really was safe for conjurers to borrow that power if I hadn't seen the way you wield it. Nothing could seem more natural. I think it's time I went back to the guild. There are a few things I need to collect first, so please, go on ahead without me. How are you, Queen? Welcome back, Strife. And you also, Sophie. Brother Yasumi, I'm sorry I ran away like that. I understand, child. Did you find the answers you sought? Yes, thanks to Strife. He showed me that nature was nothing to be afraid of. I think I know why my mother refused to call upon its power. She believed that the act caused suffering to nature itself. I see. So it was her very love for nature that prevented her from drawing on its strength. Tell me, Sophie, has the fog of indecision now lifted from your mind? It has, Guildmaster. I understand now why my mother chose the path she did. Full glad am I to hear that, for I must ask of you one more question. Yes, Brother Isumi? When you first witnessed Strife cleanse a corrupted element, you mentioned hearing voices. How exactly did they sound? The voices? Well, they sounded joyful. Like a crowd letting out a sudden cheer. I really heard them, I swear. I'm sure you did, Sophie. This is a gift. Conjurers may sense the power of nature and borrow from its strength, but not all can hear its whispers. What you describe are the voices of the elementals. You may very well possess the talent to become a hearer. A hearer? Of course, much relies on your studies of conjuring. You have a natural aptitude, but have thus far lacked commitment. You must not neglect your training, Sophie. Putting aside such matters for a moment, I'm curious to hear about the disturbance you observed in the South Shroud. Strife, I assume from the reports I've received that it was of different magnitude to those which you have previously encountered. Am I correct? This bodes ill. The creatures known as mud pies are not native to the Twelveswood. I wonder what relation this must have to the seemingly ever-increasing frequency of these disturbances. Something beyond the damage wrought by the calamity afflicts the Twelveswood. I shall commune with the elementals and seek to identify this threat. Strife, Sophie, I may have need of you both before long. Until then, give yourselves over to the study of our art. Ever shall the earth meet your footfall and the wind guide your path. Strife, your presence here is most welcome. I have another task to which your maturing skills are well suited. Attend to me closely. Expansive wounds that ooze corruption have formed throughout the forest. After examining the traces of the sizable disturbance you previously cleansed, I can only conclude that this phenomenon is the work of a malign agent. It must be found swiftly, lest the corruption spread, and I would have you assist in the investigate. Guildmaster, you must let me help! Sophie? Since I got back from the South Shroud, I've spent all my time studying the forces of nature. I even sat through one of Hero Nolanel's lectures. The Twelveswood is crying out in pain. My skills are still a bit lacking in some areas, but I want to do what I can for the forest. Lacking? Sophie, you have yet to master a single offensive spell. Without the means to defend yourself, it would be far too dangerous to send you off into the forest alone. So I am to stay here then? Not necessarily. Strife, with your consent, I would have Sophie accompany you once more. I do not propose this arrangement solely with her safety in mind. Given the nature of the investigation, it is like that Sophie's innate talent for hearing will prove as useful to you as your conjuring will to her. There is much you might accomplish together. Sophie, you are not to approach any sources of corruption without Strife at your side. Do I make myself clear? And should you chance to encounter the origin of these disturbances, do not initiate a confrontation. Too often you allow your curiosity to overwhelm your good sense. Now go, and may the elementals watch over you. Yes, Guildmaster. Something tells me we should start at Quarry Mill in South Shroud. Meet me there as soon as you can, Strife, and hurry. The corruption is spreading. To the South Shroud and Quarry Mill! Or the Quarry Mill and South Shroud! Yarg! Rock on! And that is not a stone joke. That was brilliant, Strife, but it was only the start. The forest still groans in pain. I can hear it. I think it's coming from the north. No, the northeast. Let's go and have a look. Doing really well, Strife, but I think there's another one, and well, it calls me even more fervently than the last. It's to the east, I think. Yes, to the east. Nice work. The earth here feels healed, and yet there's another disturbance, and it's big, really big. It's hard to describe, but it feels sort of wrong-er, I think. I think it might be what's causing all of this. I know Brother Isumi said we were to confront it, but we can't just let it corrupt the rest of the forest. And however powerful it is, it can't be any more powerful than you. You're amazing. What I mean to say is, I'm willing to risk a scolding if you are. It's not far from here, somewhere to the southeast, I think. Shall we at least have a closer look? I don't think you need to be able to hear the voices of the forest to notice that, do you, Strife? The corruption is definitely coming from somewhere around here. That's odd. As soon as we arrived, the sense of wrongness I had suddenly felt it just felt less. It's almost as if it's holding its breath, or hiding. Do you see that? Just in that one spot there. The air seems wrong. You don't have to. I'll just kick the crap out of it. Isn't it amazing, Strife? Did the breeze always feel this good? Was the ground always this warm? I'm so glad I finally understand. I just wish I could tell my mother how incredible nature feels. Oh, you're injured. Here. Don't worry, healing doesn't drain me anymore. Not since I learned how to borrow from nature. And I have you to thank for that, Strife. Let's return to the guild. We have to explain everything to Brother Isumi. You mean we gotta go back and take that scolding? Welcome back, Strife, Sophie. Our mission was a success, Guildmaster. Quite. I take it the two of you conspired to defy my orders? Well, the force was suffering. We couldn't just walk away. It's not Strife's fault. It's mine. It was all my idea. I take full responsibility. Calm yourself, child. You did nothing I did not foresee. I am of no mind to lecture you. Indeed, Gridania is indebted to you for your heroic deeds. The corruption born of Akumon had taken root in the calamity-weakened soil. There is no telling how much further it might have spread if you had not defeated the creature. And if I am not mistaken, Sophie, you succeeded in drawing upon the energies of nature during the battle. How did you... Yes I did. I'm not really sure how it happened. I remember thinking how badly I wanted to help Strife, and then I suddenly felt the power surging through me. That is as it should be. One does not simply choose to borrow from nature's strength. The mind may command only that which the heart permits. In your desperation to help your friend, you opened your heart to nature, and nature responded to your deed. But we must not forget your part in this strife. It is clear to me that your journey with Sophie has brought you still closer to the pinnacle of our art. I believe you are ready for the last of my teachings. Thus, it is with great pleasure that I pass on another of our guild's magics. A more potent form of the cure spell is now yours to command. I have no doubt that it will serve you well in your continuing endeavors. Wheresoever you go, nature will go with you, my friend. Ever shall the earth meet your footfall, and the wind guide your path. Cure 2! Why you gotta spam Cure 2? And that concludes the Conjurer storyline. So now, we move over to the White Mage. But before we do that, we'll take a quick break before we jump into this. Alright, we're back. Let's go ahead and knock out the next half of this. Strife, I'm glad you have come. I have a task of most urgent and confidential nature, and I can think of none other to whom I can entrust it. You are doubtless familiar with the Seed Seers, yes? Kane Senna, Elder Seed Seer, leader of the Order of the Twin Adder, and guardian of our fair nation. Clearly needs no introduction, but know you also of her siblings. The two young Pajols, sister Raya Osena and brother Aru Senna, make for Evershade as we speak, where they will perform a ritual of great import. Verily, such import that it would be no overstatement to say that the very fate of Gridania hangs in the balance. As you well know, we dwell in this forest by the good graces of the elementals, eternal guardians of the Twelveswood, and most of all, the great one who dwells within the guardian tree. Yet our ceaseless worrying and ill treatment of the trees that shelter us have aroused the great one's ire, and it is only by the quieting, the ritual of which I spoke, that he may be placated. Thus did the two Seed Seers set out for Evershade, with nary a guard to accompany them. Therein lies the rub, and the nature of the favor I ask of you. By no means would I question the powers of the Seed Seers, but with the Great One's anger mounting, the Twelveswood becomes a threatening domain for even the most puissant of conjurers. Pray hasten to Evershade and see that no harm befalls the two. Oh great, I'm going to Evershade. This is just like roleplay. Curses, how can we hope to make it to the Guardian Tree with these ghastly creatures bursting forth like rampant weeds? If I'd known that what we were in for, I'd have brought along a wood whaler or two. In fact, I dare say we should return and do exactly that. Oh, do not be such a coward, sister. We are Seed Seers. These overgrown vermin are no match for us. Bold words, brother, but were they true words, we would have dispatched our enemies and arrived safely at our destination bells ago. A conjurer. Are you? Brother Isumi, ever the warrior. For once, however, his solicitude is most welcome. Might you help us dispose of these fell creatures? Have you no pride, sister? A Seed Seer does not beg for the aid of some common adventurer. Enough, brother. We have a duty to perform, a duty that takes precedence over your silly notions of pride. Now enough talk. Let us see to these pests. That crystal. Do my eyes deceive me, or does this adventurer inherit the legacy of Etoa Kant? Huh? It was none other than Etoa himself who last performed the quieting. No, I do not believe this adventurer's arrival is mere coincidence. Bearer of the Soul Crystal, inheritor of arcane knowledge long since forbidden to those of our kind. I know not why it is you he chose, but I believe our great forefather has led you to us today. Ancient tradition dictates that the quieting be performed by 3 Pajals. But I misspeak. The ritual is to be performed by 3 white mages. If Master Etoa truly has chosen this adventurer as his successor... You speak madness, sister. Surely you have not forgotten that Pajali tradition strictly forbids sharing the teachings with those not of our kind. The power of white magic is far too great a risk it falling into the wrong hands. And so you would uphold tradition merely for tradition's sake, even at the risk of incurring the Great One's wrath and bringing disaster upon our forest home? Have you so little faith in your own ability, sister? We are seed seers, more than capable of slaying any beast in our way and carrying out the ritual on our own. This petty bickering is getting us nowhere. Adventurer, I'm sorry to trouble you with our silly sibling quabbles. If you've the time, I would speak with you further, but not here. Come to Camp Tranquil and come quickly. Time is of the essence. To Camp Tranquil! Thank you for coming, adventurer. Forgive my brother's rudeness. He cannot help that he was born with a head of solid stone. Anyways, I do not believe we have been properly introduced. I am Raya Osena, a Pajal, as you can see, and sister of the Elder Seedseer. You are Strife, yes? Brother Isumi has spoken of you, and most highly at that. As you no doubt have heard, my brother, Arun, and I were en route to the Guardian Tree. There, the Great One, by whose graces we dwell here, resides. The gentlest of guardians when at peace, a destructive force that knows no bounds when angered. As the Great One goes, so goes our fate. The creatures he helped us dispatch, doubtless they, too, were roused by the hostility by the Great One in his anger. You need only look around you to see. The forest grows more and more threatening with each passing hour. So it is that we traveled here to quell the Great One's fury, to perform the quieting. In days of old, the ritual was, without fail, performed by 3 white mages. With our elder sister occupied with her many duties, my brother and I thought to attempt it on our own. Arun was quite confident, but I had my doubts. It was then that you arrived, and shortly thereafter became one of the chosen few to be gifted with a white mage's soul crystal. It is no small honor. That gem marks you as an inheritor of the magic of our ancestors. My brother's pride may blind him, but the signs are as clear as day to me. You are not Pajali, but Etoa Kant meant for you to be here today, to perform the ritual with us. Itoa Count is known to all as one of the greatest mages in our history, but even more so, he was known for being something of an eccentric. In defiance of tradition, he bid farewell to his forest home, wandering the realm and hailing the wounds of the land and its people wheresoever he went. A most admirable cause, yes? But alas, Itoa was never to return. He perished in a far-off land, and having taken no apprentices, his legendary powers were lost to us for eternity. Or so I believed, until I met you. And yet, for all his stubbornness, there is some truth in my brother's words. Ancient laws forbid us from sharing the teachings of white magic outside of our own kind. There are reasons for this, which I would share with you when the time is right. There are many who would not approve of this arrangement. Still, I am convinced that it is Atoa's will that we bring you into the fold, and so I welcome you, Strife of the White. I can feel the Great One's fury welling up even now. Time is short, and yet while you may have been chosen by Atoa, I fear your journey as a white mage has just begun. Return to me when you have further honed your skills, and we shall proceed with your training. Ah, Strife, looking ever more the white mage, I see, and yet I fear you are as ready to perform the quieting as a chocobo chick is to carry a woodwind clad in full plate. But take heart, for we all must begin somewhere. Today I would teach you the art of communing with the elementals. This is, by any measure, the very foundation of our art, the means by which we preserve harmony between the forest and our people. Not far from Sorrow Haven you shall find a tree, a mere sapling in the shadow of the guardian tree, but one that has likewise been consumed by anger and fear. I would ask you to placate this tree. The process is quite simple. Stand before the tree and raise your hands. Commune with the elementals that reside within, and attune yourself to them until your feelings are in absolute harmony. Be forewarned, however, an angry elemental can be as stubborn as my dear brother. Do not be surprised if you find your honest plea rebuffed and foul creatures sent to drive you from the forest. No matter what happens, you must remain calm. Dispatch the creatures, settle your heart, and speak to the tree once more. If your heart is true, your voice will reach the elemental ere long. Remember this, Strife. Under no circumstances must you allow your anger and fear to overcome you. As practitioners of white magic, the magic of succor and solace, such emotions are anathema to our very existence. That was easy. Hello there. Oh, no, wait, sorry, you said it. Ah, General Bechobe. Hi, Zell. How are you? I hurt. short while ago I sensed a great anger abate. The forest is quieter, more welcoming now. It would seem you have passed your first test, Strife. The trees are the elementals. The elementals are the trees. The lush verdure of the wood is inseparable from the spirits that dwell within it. But you do not need to hear this from me. Doubtless you felt it for yourself when you healed that tree. Above all else, the elementals prize harmony. When they sense a threat to harmony, they summon forth all the powers at their disposal to expulse it. Alright, Elsa, sorry to hear you're hurt. I slipped and fell at work twice. And both times in the same spot, so I'm a little battered and bruised on one side of my body. For so long have we lived in peace with the elementals. Why now do they turn against us? I can offer no answers, only theories. But one thing is certain, we must quell the Great One's fury, and do it soon, lest Gridania bear the full brunt of the forest's wrath. To soothe the forest wounds and restore harmony, that is our duty as mages of the White, and it is a responsibility that transcends race or nation. I sensed your success in soothing the ailing tree, and am more certain of this than ever. Sadly, many cannot see past established practice and tradition, my dear brother among them. One would hope for a bit more open-mindedness given his youth, but alas, his pride as a Bajal will not permit it. For my part, I am not entirely unsympathetic to his concerns, and yet the task before us is too great. We must bring him around to see reason, but how? Forgive me, Strife, I would be alone with my thoughts for a while. Worry not, I will find a way to deal with our room. Yeah, I had to dig out a trailer from snow, and unfortunately where it was, the ground is basically nothing but ice and concrete. And trying to put it into a position where the car could back up to it, basically I ate shit twice. Strife, I owe you an apology. When last we spoke, I promised that I would find a way to convince my brother to accept you, but I fear he intently refuses to heed my words. Why, the more I try to reason with him, the more he shuts his ears to me. All pride and no common sense, that one. I can scarce believe we are kin. So intent is he to prove that you are unneeded that he dashed out into the forest all alone, boasting that he would placate every last elemental and save the forest all by himself. Needless to say, such a task is far beyond his powers. There is a part of me that would like nothing more than to see the foolish boy learn his lesson, and yet, as his sister, I fear for him. Would you go look after him, Strife? Sincere or no, he is in many ways still a child, and the forest grows ever more unsafe these days. I thought to go myself, but if you were to save my brother from his own recklessness, perhaps he might finally see how fatuous he has been. When last I spoke with him, he announced his intentions to begin his efforts in the bramble patch. With any luck, you may still find him there. Now please go in haste, before some ill fate befalls him. Dule Shroud. It was a super busy day because of it being last day of the month. So, combine that with the weather and everything, and it's just like, it was a recipe for disaster today. If it isn't my sister's favorite adventure. Come to show me up, have you? Well, you can march right back and tell my sister that I'm doing just fine. I am only resting. Even if I were hurt and unable to placate this tree, what could a run-of-the-mill adventurer like you do about it? beginner's luck. If you think healing a sapling or two is going to convince me that you are a worthy inheritor to the teachings of Master Atoa, Arun, you yourself do not believe those words. Sister, what are you doing here? Ah, damn it, where's Rain when I need him? Alright, bloodying the baseball bat. Seeing to my pig-headed brother's safety, what do you think I'm doing? For better or worse, it would appear you suffer only from bruises to your leg and your pride. Arun, for all your obstinacy, I know that deep down you are no fool. No, you are wise beyond your years. You realize as well as I the dire fate that will befall Gridania if we do not quell the Great One's fury and restore peace to the wood. The adventure is no Pajali, this is true, but what of it? Would you blindly trumpet tradition as the very forest turns against us and brings ruin to our home? We have a greater calling to answer. You know this. I do, sister. Oh, my dear Arun, what are sisters for if not to forgive their little brother's fits of folly? Now, Strife, I believe the most important task of all still awaits us. Let us return to Camp Tranquil. Strife, thank you. I knew it was only a matter of time before Arun came around to reason, and yet his hesitance to accept you was not entirely unfounded. When we first met, I promised that one day I would share with you the tale of how white magic came to be regarded as a forbidden art. Well, I suppose this is as good a day as any for the telling. The tale begins some 3 millennia ago, in the 5th astral era. It was the time of the endless frost, when a barren wasteland of snow and rime stretched as far as the eye could see. Food was scarce and warmth scarcer. The histories hold many a grim tale of those who died in their beds, starving and benumbed. So did our ancestors discover magic, born out of the most fundamental instinct, survival. In time, the winter thawed and magic was no longer essential for survival. But once awakened to its conveniences, there was no returning to how things once were. Ere long, the people discovered all the myriad ways in which magic could be employed, and civilization flourished. But prosperity breeds contempt, and nations warred for power and riches. So did the people seek greater and greater power to rain destruction down upon their enemies. So was born black magic, the most devastating form of sorcery the world has ever seen. At the same time, another form of magic emerged, brought forth by those who would keep this immense destructive power in check. That is, white magic. Our magic. Does this surprise you? Just as there can be no dawn without the night, the white and black are two sides of the same coin. War raged on, and magic was used and abused with little concern for the consequences, and consequences there were. Unchecked use of magic soon dried the flow of aether, threatening to bring blight to the land. The magic of healing made little difference. If used with no concern for the aether, our magic could prove as ruinous to the land as the most devastating black magic spell. And so it was that the practicing of white magic was forbidden, with one exception. The Pajal. Our kind were entrusted as sole shepherds of the now forbidden art, to serve as healers and bringers of peace while ensuring that this great power would never again be misused. Though he is still young, Arun feels this profound sense of responsibility as strongly as any of us, thus his hesitance to accept you. But having seen your abilities and the sincerity of your intentions, you can rest assured his doubts have been dispelled. With the three of us united in place and purpose, and your skills ever growing, the day that we may perform the quieting draws near. To our fortune, the Great One has not yet been entirely consumed by fury, but our time remains short. To commune with the Great One and restore the Twelveswood to its former state of harmony, we must truly be of one heart, one of mind. It is to this end that Atoa Kant has guided you to us. Further your mastery of our art, Strife, and let us mend the wounds of the wood together. Your command of white magic has advanced considerably, Strife. Yes, the time draws near. Let us begin our preparations for the quieting. At its roots, the ritual is no different from the acts of pacifying that you have already performed. The difference lies only in the difficulty of the effort. The Great One possesses a power unfathomably more immense than the elementals you have communed with thus far. Power so immense that a mage might be easily overwhelmed by the sheer force of its will. To prevent such a catastrophic fate, our tradition decrees that a special garb must be donned before performing the ritual. I have prepared for you these pieces, but I fear they will not avail you in their current state. So it is that I would send you on a journey. I trust you know the story of Atoa Kant. Rare among the Bajal, he left the forest behind to travel the realm, healing the land and its people. As tribute to his wonder, after he passed, his ashes were divided among several urns, which were in turn carried to the far reaches of the realm. And it was there, in the distant lands, that the great mage so loved that his ashes were buried and monuments erected in his honor. You are to go on a pilgrimage to these sites and receive the blessings of your forebear. Only then will the garb I have gifted you be imbued with his divine powers. Mind you, you will find that these places are not as welcoming as they might have been in the Master Atoa's time. The first site is on the shores of western Lenosha, in a place now feared as the Serpent's Tongue, home to a band of vile pirates. The next is to be found in Mordona, in that overgrown labyrinth of roots and vines so affectionately known as the Tangle. I do hope that Master Atoa's ashes has survived those most oppressive environs. The third site I would have you visit is perhaps the most treacherous location of the lot, Rabon's Push in northern Thonolin, a stone's throw from an Imperial stronghold. I urge you to exercise extreme caution. Alright. We will start here. Anyway, how are you doing, Zone? I know you said you're chilling with Sass right now, but like, how has your day been? Has your mental health been nice to you today, and everything going good with Sass? You know, the normal chit-chatting we do before we go silent, and just sit there and chat, saying nothing. Alright, next one on the list would be Northern Thonolin. 2 more donuts! My body is so achy from the fall that it hurts to cough. No matter the cough, it just hurts to cough. Of course, that could also just be a sign that I'm getting older, and I should avoid falling before I need to go life alert status. Help, I've fallen and I can't get up. Push the button, call 911. Alright. Your safe return heartens me, Strife. I can feel newfound power emanating from the garb I gave you. I trust that this stage of your pilgrimage was a success. Now that you have traveled the realm and seen the land as Master Etoa did, I would share with you the rest of his tale. The histories claim that Etoa Kent disappeared in the mountains of Ogamora, the Kobold motherland. This is not untrue, but there is more to the story. When the great mage did not return from his journey, one of his most devoted students went in search of him. As the legends have it, the young mage single-handedly fought off veritable legions of kobolds while scouring the mountains for any sign of his master. Sadly, it was as all had feared. Though the young mage eventually found his master, the great Etoa Kent lived no more. As if the death of the man were not enough, Thyrus, Etoa Kent's great staff, a mighty relic passed down by his ancestors, was lost to the shadows. Undeterred, the young mage fought off the kobold hordes to carry his master's remains back to the surface. A ceremony was held to honor Master Etoa's life and deeds, and urns housing his ashes were carried off to the far-reaching frontiers of which he was so fond in his living years. All the urns, that is, except for one, yes. Though the precise location is known to only a few, Master Etoa also rests closer to home, here in the 12th Wood. Not far from Proud Creek, you will find yet another monument to the Great Mage. Take with you this habit and pay your respects as before. If you keep pure intentions in your heart and in your mind, then the healer's robe shall be your reward. The North Shroud. And now back to South Shroud. Well, we'll go to bed, but there's a part of me that's looking forward to going to bed. The urn holding Master Itoa's ashes was stolen. This cannot be. Grave robbery is a damnable enough crime in itself, but what manner of scoundrel would dare defile the resting place of the Bajal? Rest assured that I will investigate this heinous crime immediately. In the meantime, your pilgrimage demands you travel to one last destination. The final leg of your journey will take you to the very place that Master Itoa drew his last breath, Ogamoro, the homeland of the kobolds in Outer Lenosha. It is there, in plain sight of the kobold dig, that the student of whom I spoke did erect a monument to his fallen master. Llama. Alpaca. For some reason I was thinking we needed to go further in and I just ignored the map. Welcome back, Strife. The journey was not an easy one, I trust, and yet I knew that Master Itoa would guide you safely back to me. In your travels, you have received the blessings of our great ancestor, and yet this was not the sole reason I sent you on this pilgrimage. Perhaps you sensed something of my intentions during your trip. Yes, Strife, as he who would inherit Master Itoa's legacy, I wanted you to truly walk in his footsteps, to see the realm in both its beauty and its suffering with your own eyes, as the great Mage did so long ago. And yet, is it strange, no? A pirate's lair, a rampant jungle, mountains of fire, all of the hostile environs to which you journeyed, the single grave despoiled was that which rests right here in our forest home. I suspect this was the handiwork of no witless grave robber, but rather someone who knew all too well the value of that which was buried within. We must uncover the truth behind this crime and return Master Itoa's ashes to the rightful resting place. And quickly. You are with me, yes? Grave robbery is a loathsome enough crime in its own right, but to defile the final resting place of a Bajal, such an act could only be performed by the lowliest of bandit scum. Though I would like to think that the elementals have already delivered due justice to the villain, we must take no chances in allowing an escape. Whilst you were away, I put my best Moogle on the hunt, searching for any sign of the culprit or the stolen remains. I dare say he should have a clue or two for us by now. At least he better, if he values that little ball on his head. Suffice it to say, though many forest-born think of Moogles as blessed, my own personal experiences have found them to be more touched than anything. mistress. You shouldn't say such hurtful things. It's most unbecoming of a seed seer. Oh! But fine, don't listen to me. Why, I told her just the other day that this is why she remains, shall we say, unspoken for. She might not react to that phrasing at present, but her ire was indeed fierce. Kapow! Of course, you have not come to discuss my mistress's temper, but the grave robbery, a most unforgivable act of villainy if I do say so myself, which I believe I just did. Kapow! I am pleased to say, and you will be pleased to hear, that the culprit did not escape Moogle eyes. Kapow! Well, my eyes he did escape. My associate Puknapoki, however, claims to have seen a band of ruffians skulking off the direction of Red Belly Hive with various and sundry stolen goods in tow. Among them, a rather conspicuously elaborate urn. Kapow! I do not know what the Red Bellies are up to, but surely it can be nothing good. Please, Strife, go quickly. If the urn is lost, I fear Raya-O's ire will be the least of my worries. Kapow! Those thieving crooks, those crooked thieves, defiling the resting place of a Pajal, why no amount of thrashings, lashings, and bashings would suffice. Kabobo, why, if it isn't the dashing white mage Kubchakupak Toko, and not a moment too soon. Why, I was just about to swoop in and give them their come-uppance myself. Now that you're here, however, I believe I'll just sit back and enjoy the show. Those vile red bellies tossed the urn into some ramshackle wagon, the most ignoble fate for the Pajal legend, I do declare, and carted it northwise toward their hive. You will retrieve it safe and sound, won't you? Kapow! If thou must. Guys, do we really have to? That just saves a little time. Thank you, Strife. The remains of our exalted forebear hauled away by brigands like a sack of loot. Is that what our land has come to? There can be no doubt it is the Great One's fury that brings such chaos to the Twelveswood. The situation is grave indeed. I shall have our woodwheelers deal with the red bellies. We have more important matters before us. And yet I fear we have hit another snag. Though the urn has been safely recovered, the harsh treatment it suffered at the hands of the bandits has taken its toll. Uprooted from its proper resting place, the power of Aotearoa once housed within has grown dim. I shall return the urn to its rightful home. Perhaps over time it will return to its former state. And yet I fear time is a luxury we do not have. We must explore other means to enchant the ritual garb. I will consult with my brother to see what knowledge he might have to offer. In the meantime, I would ask that you master your newfound skills as best you can. There's no telling when the Great One's fury might grow too strong to contain. We must ever be prepared. Forgive me, Strife. Brother and I have considered every possibility and attempted every incantation at our disposal, but I fear the task of completing the enchantment has proven beyond our abilities. No living Pajal, not even our sister, possesses such power. Without the blessing of Itoa Kant, there is nothing we can do. With the ashes returned to the rightful resting place, Itoa Kant's spirit will return. Surely it is only a matter of time. Look around you, sister. Open your eyes and ears. Time is one thing we do not have. Arun? The fury of the Great One mounts with each passing moment. It will not be contained much longer. No, the time for waiting is long past. Now is the time for action. But, Strife's garb, the enchanting is not yet complete. The situation is far from ideal, yet we have no choice. We must trust in Strife's powers and do what we can. Do I hear you right, Arun? Why, it was not long ago that you objected to Strife's very presence at the ritual. I may be stubborn, sister, but I am no fool. I have witnessed Strife's abilities with my own eyes. There can be no doubting that he is a mage of the white, one as worthy as you and I. Arun, if you would place your trust in Strife so, I see no reason why I should not. Very well, let us hasten for Evershade. You know the funny thing? Like, it's bad that they couldn't get the garb going. It's another thing that I'm technically, while I am wearing, the visual aspect of it says I'm not wearing anything healer related except the headpiece, which I don't even have displayed. Oh, that's water right there. The Great One's rage is too strong. I cannot reach him. Stay focused, Arun. If we fail, who will rise to take our place? But sister, the forest itself turns against us. If we can only reach the Great One, his minions will relent. Cast away your worries and focus your mind on the ritual. No, Strife! Stand strong, Strife. Are you going to let some overgrown shrub ruffle your feathers? And the two of you, don't you have a ritual to perform? Do my eyes deceive me? This is no time for chit-chat, Raya-O, Alu, Strife. Focus your energies on the Guardian Tree. We must quell the Great One's fury. Dispatch its minions and resume the quieting. Now, focus your powers on the Guardian Tree. Is it over? The Great One's anger bates. You have done well, my children. Master Itoa, do you truly live? Live? Not as you would define the word. May have been the heart of Strife here, whose strength I borrowed to join you. It's a miracle. It may very well be, or perhaps the Mother Crystal heard this old soul's wish. I lived a long and fruitful life, but when I drew my last breath in Ogomoro that day, I did so with one profound regret, that it would pass from this realm without finding a worthy inheritor to bequeath my knowledge in full. My spirit left my lifeless body to abide in this soul crystal. with the hope that one day it would find its way into the hands of my successor. For years, my consciousness slumbered in the darkness, until I met Strife. From the moment you took my crystal in hand, I knew, Pajal or no, I had at long last found one to whom I could truly pass on my knowledge. Yes, Strife, and you're Master Atoa? The power of the crystal grows faint. It would seem my all too brief sojourn here has come to an end. Farewell, Strife of the White. Farewell, my children. I leave my forest home in your capable hands. Master Atoa, he has left us. And yet by his power, and that of his successor, Strife, the Great One's fury is quelled, and the Twelvewood is safe. Though Master Atoa traveled the world, no doubt his heart always remained here, in the forest home he loved. He waited for us. Why, brother, for once you almost sound wise beyond your years. Strange, is it not? Perhaps I finally learned something from you, dear sister. As I could learn something from you, Rune. Your pride as a Pajol, your deep respect for our past, these are traits to be admired. The same can be said for Master Atoa's liberality. Yes, I believe there is a place for both beliefs among our kind. The road was a long and winding one, but at long last our work is done. Let's return to Camp Tranquil. Let's just go wrap this up. Oh, God, I hurt. Oh, okay. To meet Master Atoa in the flesh. Well, not flesh perhaps. I'm still shaking from the experience, and from the pure joy of seeing peace return to my forest home at last. I will be forever grateful to you, Strife. I am honored that we were able to heal the wood together. I speak not only for myself, my brother has expressed the same sentiments. For Master Atoa here, I'm sure he would say the same. Though perhaps he is still here in some form. Behold, the final piece of your garb now pulses with his ancient power. Yes, there can be no doubt that Master Atoa intended this as his parting gift to you. Take it and wear it with pride, Strife of the White. Before we part, I would bestow upon you a present of my own. By the ancient powers vested in me as a seed seer, I bestow upon you the greatest incantation known to our kind. May you ever heed the will of the elementals and use it in wisdom and compassion. Phew, I'm not given to formalities. I swear, do not know how my sister manages. In the short time I've known you, Strife, you have grown into a fine white mage. I'm honored to call you my peer. Use your powers in moderation and let compassion be your guide. I have no doubt that you will bring succor and solace wherever your journey takes you. Benediction! So, just asking for a friend. So, when you say use the power, the white mage's power in moderation, would spamming holy non-stop in a sanctuary to blind a friend, would that count as using it moderately? Alright. Alright, so that's White Mage down, and that is the end of the Gridania section. Hopefully, if I can get through this tomorrow, I will begin Arcanist in Limsa. I will cover Arcanist, and essentially the goal for Arcanist would be to cover both branching routes. It originates in Limsa, and one of its branching paths remains in Limsa, so Summoner's the only one I gotta go back to Gridania for, so I'm counting it as part of Limsa, so that being said, so I will try and do the Arcanist route tomorrow, and then this way, just to make sure I have time to do it all, I will cover Rogue and Warrior on Monday. And then finally Tuesday I will wrap up with Manderville. And then when Zell feels ready to do so, we will start Heavensward. So that ought to be fun. Anyway, that'll do it for me. I will see you guys tomorrow. I have been trying to keep up on these, so every episode of the job quest has been uploaded to my YouTube channel up to Bard. I will work on getting Lancer Dragoon up tonight, and then this one will start uploading tomorrow, so if I work everything right, I should have this all up by Thursday. So, anyway, I'm done, I'm out, good night.
Never had a choice, never let the ops win. Calm them nerves, got the whole world watching.